In this video, I'd like to cover some of the basic information about the Institute's website and the new software package that we're going to use to maintain it. First, I'd like to say that the new site is going to look very much like the old site. We'll have this main welcome page. There'll be also the sections for the vocations and the lay society and some of the other areas, and then all of the other oratories will also be covered. But the new site is going to have a few additional features. I'll demonstrate those too as I move to that site. So first, let me start here. Detroit will be one of the first sites that we move over, and as we do the initial changes over, the new sites are going to have the word staging at the front just to help us accommodate using this new piece of software. When we get most or all of the sites transferred over, we'll get rid of the word staging so that we're back to the traditional institute-christ-king.org URL. So let me start by pointing out some of the things. You can see from the Detroit site, it does look very much like the existing site. But we did add a few more things from a survey that we asked in terms of what people were looking for. First is a photos area. So we'll have an easy way for you to upload a group of photos, and it'll create this type of structure. When you click on this, it brings up an image, and you can browse through and see all the images. So I'll demonstrate that at some point to you. There's also now a calendar feature, so that you can put entries into a calendar. If an entry is there and they click on it, you'll be able to see news stories about that calendar. And then there's also a section for news. And these news stories will feed into the main site as well. And the news stories will have two different categories. One is a public and one is a private one. So if it's a news story that the whole institute would want to see, we would publish it and it would have that type of a characteristic. So for example, this one, Canon Stein installed as pastor of St. Joseph, that will appear in both the main site and this St. Joseph Oratory news page. But if it's more of a local one, let's say it's the spaghetti dinner at the oratory, then we can mark that news story as private and it would only appear here. A few more features of these news stories, as you can see, we'll have this little icon image related to the story. And if you click here for the read more, you'll get to the page, which has more details. You can have some images up there. And as you can see in this case, we take advantage of having another photo gallery on this page. So that's all possible as well. And that's in the news area. And then another change that we made was for bulletins. So we'll have a much easier way for you to upload the bulletins. I'll show you in another video how you can log into a site, point to the date that you want it to load it for, and it'll automatically format this page and upload the image for you. So I think that you'll find that that's easier. As needed, it's a little easier within this site to also add additional pages. So for example, if you're going through a restoration and wanted to include information about that, or you have a special fundraising package, or there's just some special event or some special project that you want a whole separate series of pages, that we can accommodate that much easier on this site. I'll talk throughout the other videos as well about some of the best practices. One thing that you want to do is make sure that you keep the content fresh and current. If you have information here that's very outdated, the website doesn't look fresh any longer. We also we're trying to keep the uniformity. So you're going to see this size and type of text is going to be consistent throughout all of these web pages as well as these headings. So you're going to use some of the features within this software package that we use to help maintain that. Let me show you how we're going to be using a software package called Joomla. Joomla is a content management system that many people use. And instead of editing an entire page, you're going to see it breaks things up into smaller sections. So for example, this top area up here, they're going to refer to as a navigation section. This area here is the menu section. On the main page, we're going to have this image, and that's our banner, and it's usually just going to appear on the home page. Over here on this left side of this page is one of our main articles. On the home page, there's also this right sidebar. That's called the sidebar here. And then at the bottom of the page is the footers. As site editors, you're primarily going to work on articles, which will appear here. I'm going to show you another example. So if I come into the news area, there's no sidebar, but each one of these are articles that you'll edit. That's all that I plan to cover in this video. We'll have more videos about the details of using Joomla then.